Aizamk is readying up right now. Diarouga is still probably deciding a little bit. I think we've been seeing a lot of Aztec mirrors this game, this tournament, right? Especially in game one.
I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to it. I've been focusing on my own things, but
Mm.
yeah, Aztec mirrors are always a bit interesting. Yeah, it's cool. You're seeing all the native civs, and a lot of times they're not played as much in regular tournaments. So, seeing a lot of different civs and different matchups and everything.
Right. I think the Aztecs are pretty popular, especially for game one, just because I would say they're the most versatile native civ, or at least the easiest one that a lot of people still play in main tournaments. You don't really see Iroquois or Sioux that much
Yeah.
off of
Right.
in the tournaments, but Aztec is pretty common. Um, so this is a way for players not to reveal too much information. And Aztec mirrors, you even see those a lot in tournaments.
Yeah, that is true. Um, yeah, I think H2O and Lord Raphael was that they played Aztec Mirror in one of the finals.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you recall that one in one of the previous tournaments. Um, yeah, so we'll have to see how this one goes. Looks like Durogo is building trading post right now,
yeah, we can see
and
actually the first divergence of builds. Aizamk is going for that early house and fire pit, while diarouga is making that trading post. Interestingly, diarouga didn't get any treasures that would support this. He's actually just going to be chopping for it. I guess it was
yeah,
a 200 wood
okay,
start, so Aizamk is leaving about 100 wood on the ground right now. So that it's going to be interesting to see how these two builds work out then.
yeah, that is interesting. So Durogo is gonna, I mean, Aztec alone without a trading post, they get their XP so fast from their priestess, doing the XP dance. And he's gonna have a TP along with that, so his shipments are gonna be coming in extremely fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that pretty much Aztec is known for. They have a lot of military unit shipments in H2, but they also have the villager shipments. So, a lot of times you see Aztec just ship units after units and just have a really strong force early in H2.
Right.
Um,
Now, Dairuga actually picking up a very strong treasure very early on, this Courier de Bois. He also got that first bear as his first conversion. Azam, conversely, has had two conversions now. He also got a bear himself, and now picking up the Settler too. So actually, both players getting very strong treasures early on. The Courier de
yeah,
Bois a little bit better, but just very slightly. So I would say it's surprisingly evenly matched in the treasures so far.
yeah, that's nice. Aizamk getting that villager treasure to even that up a little bit. We have a 235 coin treasure on Durogo's side of the map. They might be looking to get, a little bit later in the game.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's guarded
Um,
by these pirates. Yeah, pirates very difficult to actually take down just because they have so much HP. Uh,
yeah,
you can't really do it until Colonial when you have some units out. But still a couple of good treasures. I think that both players are going to start going for this Iroquois Guardian treasure. And
hmm
there's also this 90 food treasure right by it. And wow, actually, taking down that bear, I didn't realize that the Aztec
yeah,
Warchief was so good. He did
yeah.
so
I
much
was about to
damage.
say that's right, and I think he snared the bear too. Like, I think the bear is faster, right? The bear could have got away if Durogo was on top of it, but Azam got attacked him once and snared him, and
Yeah.
then took him down pretty quickly.
It actually looks like the bear is very, very slightly slower by
Oh yeah.
0.02 speed.
Hmm.
Um,
But if you make the first move, you can probably get away.
yeah, yeah. They're roughly even
Right.
speed. And then. Okay, so
Right.
ASAP actually
Right.
pulling out three villagers right now. He's about to age up to age two. I guess going for the fast age there. And I think he's going to be putting down a war hut very, very quickly. Diarouga, conversely, is about halfway aged up, still gathering wood for. Yeah, there was a little bit of lag there. We might have to switch over to you on the main cast right after this game.
Hmm.
We'll see what happens. Um,
Okay.
A's putting up his war hut right now. Um, Dairuga still actually he got his he's aged up right now, but doesn't quite have enough wood for a war hut just yet. So he might be in a little bit of trouble if Azamp is going for a very heavy aggression strategy right now.
Yeah, looks like Azamk was trying to steal his XP treasure right underneath Durogo's base, but I think he started to convert the bear and then canceled and got his own bear killed. Okay, now he's going for 90 food, which is really nice.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah, we have the warhead coming down right in front of well, not right, but in the middle of the map basically. Oh, and very defensive warhead for Drogo going down.
yeah, that's pretty much a forced response at this point to seeing that very early age up.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think he's going to find out that this war hut is going to go up in just a moment. 700 wood as well first, although this is very, well, I guess both players are sending 700 wood. Diarouga is probably safe to send this, even though A's has aged up so quickly, just because he's going to have so many shipments going into age 2, that this is not really putting him in a lot of danger.
Yeah, and we're seeing Aizamk going to start his trade post himself.
Oh yeah, he also sent 700 wood, and I think that's going to give him some opportunity to take maybe the entire trade line, because he has map control right now.
Yeah, that's true. Do we have 5 mace? I think these mace were made. They were moving in, but didn't really see any targets. It's kind of interesting to start with 5 mace. I feel like usually you'd start with coyotes.
That's true,
Oh,
yeah.
and we're already seeing a weird shipment from Aizamk. At least as his 3rd shipment, he's shipped fencing school, which it increases the infantry training time. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct, yeah. It's a 40% improvement.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
So,
a very interesting shipment.
yeah, as your 3rd shipment, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm thinking,
And it's something
you
what's that?
you send it sometimes when you're like playing Russians, when you want to get instant infantry. But usually, kind of like I think the general line of thinking with it is why not just make another barracks instead of shipping the card. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what Aizamk is going to do here. It kind of, I think, like, yeah, why not just make a second war hut, because the war hut offers something in addition to just being a barracks anyway.
Hmm.
But do you think that this will affect coyote runners? Do you think that they would count here?
I'm not too sure. I don't play Aztec pretty much ever.
Okay.
So I'm the wrong person to ask. There are a lot of coyote runners on the field for Drogo, and as you see, he did ship 600 wood and then 3 warrior priestess following his 700 wood. So his shipments look like they're making a lot more sense. But like as we said at the start of this game, Aizamk, he's known for his crazy play and non-standard play. So this is exactly what we expect, basically.
Right. Yeah, I think that this is the pretty standard Aztec play from Diarouga, making just a bunch of coyote runners, sending actually quite a few economic shipments, the 700, 600 wood, then 3 warrior priests, and now 5 villagers. So he's going to have an extremely powerful economy. A's, meanwhile, is doing, I guess, the typical A's strat where it's really confusing to figure out what he's actually trying to do.
Okay, yeah, real quick, take a look at Azam's fire pit and then Drogo's fire pit.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, so already
There are-
for a full warrior priest. Diarouga, I see, is 5 now, so he is starting his warrior priest boom, but he is a little bit behind A's, or a bit behind A's in that regard.
Real quick, Azamp was going for this treasure, but Drogo saw it just in time and forcing Azamp to fall back here.
Yeah.
And it looks like Drogo has a better mass here.
He does have a better mass, but I guess he's
And
not.
here we go. This is a big engagement.
Yeah, he's not feeling too comfortable about fighting into that war hut. And now that A's just got those 6 Pumas out, I think that A's will actually be safe here. A's didn't lose too many units there. I think the pathing behind the trading post and the trees saved him a little bit. And with these 6 Pumas, I think he'll be just fine to be able to actually take this treasure.
Yeah, it looks like both players really want that treasure. 235 coin is quite a bit. And there's just 1 garden left remaining, so it's interesting seeing them, both players kind of dance around the treasure.
Yeah, I think in this case though, with the Pumas, I think that A's will be able to take this. His army is a little bit smaller and a little bit more malformed compared to Diarouga. And yeah, now getting these 3 Pumas, I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, and he's shipping some mace too, so now he's starting to ship his military unit. Still not trying to claim this treasure quite yet. There he goes.
Seems like Diarouga might be. Oh, okay. He just actually brought out the shipment. He was sitting about a shipment behind for a moment there, but but now stripping that 600 gold. So I think he is actually gearing up for an age 3. You can see he's got the resources already for it, especially with this coin. And yeah, clicking up right now.
Oh, diarouga?
Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting timing here. As Aizamk is shipping off his military units and looking like he's probably gonna want to make a timing push soon.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so this will be an interesting one. I think Aizamk's gonna have a window to do some real damage here. And yeah, Aizamk's moving around, moving his wolf around, scouting around diarouga's entire base, trying to find a weak point somewhere to attack. And here he goes. He does find 2 villagers out on some far hunts, so it's very nice just picking up 2 villagers and just kind of closing diarouga in his base.
Oh, and actually a very strong timing here. Diarouga's pulled all of his military back, and now Aizamk is actually getting free reign over another, probably 2 or 3 villagers out of this, maybe even more.
Yeah.
So very good push by Aizamk, very good play, attacking from 2 sides. And now we're just pulling back. Basically, he got 5 villagers for free. And now I would say he's in a very convincing position, aging up himself too. So he's going to be just a little bit behind diarouga here in the age up, but I think he'll be just fine because he got so many villager kills. You can see economic unit population giving a 9 villager lead to Aiz.
Yeah, it's very large. And now he's going to kill the trading post. And here's a small thing, real quick. He put his pirate unit in front of the trading post so that he would see if there's any military units coming to like flank the units that are attacking the trading post. Because you don't want your army to get surprised by a big mass. So he just used a kind of useless pirate unit as a scout to see if there's any military units coming. And that's a thing that you usually only see like top players do. And it's a very small detail that most people would overlook, but it can be very important.
Exactly, yeah. Aiz is really actually doing very well with the line of sight here. Had pretty much the only attack path, or one of the attack paths covered with this pirate, and then the other attack path covered with this war hut, which meant that he was perfectly safe to be able to take down this trading post, and could leave at any time if it got too dangerous. As it stands, I think Aiz does have the better army just because he has these pumas mixed in, whereas diarouga is still going pretty heavy on the coyotes and only has a few mace around with his army. Now diarouga has just aged up to 3. He's built a noble's hut and does have 1 shipment on him right now. He just sent it now, and another that's about to come. Aiz, meanwhile, has actually sent, diarouga has sent the 6 Eagle Runner Knights. Now is another shipment sending right now, and we'll have another in just a moment. So there's a pretty good window for him here. Conversely, though, Aiz actually has 2 shipments stacked up, so I think Aiz will be able to hold whatever timing diarouga throws at him.
Yeah, and it looks like Aiz is trying to, get some map control here. And if you could push diarouga off of this hunt, this would be really big. As you're seeing diarouga kind of running with his villagers now off this hunt. But yeah, it doesn't look like Aizamk's trying to, fully engage. He just wants to kind of poke around and see if there's any easy spots to raid. And wait for shipments, pretty much.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to be too easy to poke right into the main hunt that diarouga has right now, although that hunt is starting to run pretty low. On this, or actually I should probably look at this fight. Looks like we've got a big engagement coming in, but...
Yeah.
Aiz, I don't think
it looks like Aiz is trying to retreat, right? He doesn't want to take this fight. You see he's like attempting to retreat, and then he realizes he can't retreat, so he has to fight.
Looks like, there's just a lot of coyotes, but the pumas are right up in there against the coyotes, and that's great for Aiz. Diarouga only has a few mace, and that's not quite enough, but yeah, it's going to be pushing right through.
Yeah, and diarouga definitely won that fight, and Aiz did have about 10 mace that were alive, but were just not in that fight. His army was a little bit split up, even 3 more mace than the other part of this trade line. So yeah, that's rough to see right there.
Yeah,
that was really big engagement right there, and I think Aizamk just wasn't quite ready. You could tell that he didn't want to take the engagement, and he was probably waiting for shipments and everything. But his units were so slow that he just couldn't retreat.
Yeah, Aztec units, it's very easy to just have all of your units caught because of the coyotes and get into an engagement that you don't want. Still, Aiz has been able to remass fairly quickly because he had all the shipments stacked up. And so now he has still a pretty decent force. He's not out of the game yet, although that fight definitely didn't help him.
Hmm.
I still don't think that he can take this engagement as it is. And it actually looks like he's going right beyond. Yeah, he is actually going to be taking it.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. 4 Skull Knight shipment popping
Oh
for Aizamk
yeah,
right there
very
at
critical
the
here.
Noble's Hut. And then some more units even trained.
Yeah,
Very
actually,
nice
those four Skull Knight pops actually
shipment
made this fight
timing.
go extremely well for A's.
Yeah.
And diarouga shipped out this 1,000 wood, but now I'm thinking he's starting to regret that shipment now.
Yeah. And the turn of the events that quickly. That's how it goes in AoE3. Very well, um, placed shipment for Aizamk right there, and took a very good fight.
Yeah, score difference now 30 points in favor of A's. Even when he lost that fight, he actually wasn't that far behind in score. He only was down maybe 3 or 4 points. And now
Yeah.
he's winning pretty much on all fronts. He still has a major economic unit population, and he just shipped those 8 villagers to get basically a 20 villager lead. Massive military lead as well. I think and on diarouga's resources, I think that he's going to be in a very commanding position for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and Drogo maybe doing a last resort, ship the Prowler Knights, but there were not really many military units supporting them, so just them by themselves, they're pretty slow units, and they can be easy to pick off if you have ranged units, which Aizamk did. So they didn't do a whole lot of damage there. They went down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and A's noting that he doesn't even care if part of his army is lost because he's getting so many villagers now. Diarouga down has a third of A's
Oh,
villagers total.
yeah.
Diarouga bringing out the 800 coin. He still has actually had a lot of shipments this game. He had 2 trading posts for a lot of it. And even right now he might be... I actually don't know exactly what he's dancing with. But regardless, he's been doing pretty well in terms of the number of shipments he's been sending. Still has that 1 trading post after losing one of them. Calling GG, I think that makes sense. He definitely had a pretty tough fight right there. It looked very promising when he won that good fight. Right in early fortress, but
Yeah.
then the 4 Skull Knights turned the game around pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting to look back at this game, and I guess the first turning point was when Aizamk was raiding, and he had his 2 coyotes catch like 2 villagers on one side of the map, and then he
Right.
moved in with his other force at the same time, and he killed like 5 villagers there or so. So he probably killed like 5 to 7 villagers, somewhat early, and that was really the first like turning point of the game.
Right. So I think, yeah, it might be a good idea if we just switch over from me streaming to you.
Hey guys, we apologize, but here we are. We're in game 2, Drogo versus Aizamk, and Aizamk did win game 1, so let me update that score. There we go. Alright, so Drogo is playing as the French, and Aizamk is playing as the Iroquois. Both of them did build a trading post. They built trading posts on the 4 corners here, and we're seeing Aizamk playing as Iroquois built a defensive, well, not a defensive stable, but he built a stable behind his TC, and he built a market. So um, he's not being like super aggressive Iroquois, and Drogo is building a barracks himself right now.
Yeah, so what I was mentioning was that Iroquois is a very standard civilization in that they're much like a European civilization. They kind of have all the European units, with the forest prowlers being like skirmishers, musket riders being like dragoons. It lends itself to a very European style of play where they do a lot of semi-FF builds, where they can play in colonial if they want to and start with a cavalry start, much like the French. A's, on the other hand, though, is a very non-standard player, and that means that we could be seeing pretty much anything coming out of him right now. He did start with this corral, and he got 3 Kanya out, and
Yep.
going to be doing a little bit of raiding with that. But you can see that the players have actually had pretty mirrored shipments so far, both doing a villager, and then wood sort of card order here.
Oh, there is actually one villager exposed here that Drogo might not have noticed, and I think he is going to go down here. Nice. Very nice pickup for Aizamk right there. Picking up a Cordovar, however, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, yeah.
I usually just say villager, but yeah. So and let's see, Drogo is now building a second trade post, and Aizamk did the same. So kind of funny. Well, they both realize how important the trading line is on this map. So they want to make a point of grabbing those trading posts.
Yeah, definitely. A's actually has gone 3 Kanya and then 4. Diarouga went 3 Musketeers. Both players not quite getting a full batch of units out. Does not have any Musketeers in queue, so he's going to be holding off with just these 3 Musketeers for now.
Yeah, and Drogo just enough resources to just about click that age up button, and there he goes.
Yeah, coming in probably fast age up and with the shipment in age 3. So he's going to be a little bit faster here than A's. A's actually is not ready to age up and doesn't really have the resources to do it. He's still building Kanya, has now, I think, a total of 9 Kanya. So could be actually going for an H2 strategy here.
Yeah, and he's going to siege down this trading post with Kanye horsemen. They're definitely going to take a while, and I'm not sure if I like this because for a couple of reasons. It takes so long to siege it down, which means you're not using that time to raid any villagers or to make villagers walk back into the town center, and you're also showing your opponent your entire army. So now Drogo realizes, like, okay, he knows exactly how many Kanye horsemen he has, so Drogo can use his shipments and the units that he's making to counter that army. So
exactly, yeah.
he is going to
now
take down
7
that TP. But yeah, it took a while, and showing his army.
These 5 Tomahawks as well, and also shipped these 7 hyenas, and was trying to do a little bit of poking there, but didn't really get much done with it. So I'm pretty interested. He is pretty much committed now to this colonial play, but this Iroquois army is so very awkward, right? The Tomahawks are just not very effective against skirmishers. The hyena are a very, mediocre unit in so many ways.
Yeah, I think A's was kind of thinking, okay, like this is my go time. I have to push in, and it looked like he was confident. He was pushing in, and then his army just got like shot down super quick from all the dragoons and like skirmishers, and he's like, okay, yeah, I can't win this, and he just decided to back off there. And yeah, it's like you said, the Iroquois kind of has that awkward army, and with already this many dragoons, he just couldn't really push in or do anything right there. But
It's
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying,
an awkward army right now because it doesn't have a lot of stuff. It has a lot of these Kanya horsemen, which are good at raiding. They're a great unit in general, but they don't really do enough pushing. He has a few Tomahawks, a few hyena, but it doesn't really have a big mass to it. And at this point, diarouga has both the larger army and the tech advantage with a much more advanced skirmisher goon army against what is effectively
ooh, and this is
mix of infantry.
Drogo's gonna catch this army here too, and this is one thing why people love their goons. Just fast units and can kind of just catch armies like this. And yeah, kind of forcing Aizamk to fight, and now the skirmishers are even coming in. So, very nice pickup here from Drogo. Oh, look at these.
Exactly, yeah.
And
good chance that diarouga actually doesn't lose a single unit in this engagement.
Yeah.
He was able to save that goon with 2 hit points. And yeah, actually pretty much clears up all of Ace's infantry.
Yeah, that was like half of
himself.
Right, that was about half of Aizamk's army right there, and they basically just died without killing a single unit. And
so now the pressure is really on Ace. He is far behind in his age up time. He had to ship 600 gold to do it. Diarouga instead was able to get basically 2 military shipments compared to Ace, who had to ship 7 hyena and the 600 gold. So now Ace is in a bit of trouble now. He doesn't really have the units that he needs to be able to deal with this skirmisher goon army. Doing a little bit of raiding himself with these Kanya, but diarouga is, I would say, fairly well protected right now.
Yeah, I think if Drogo even finds these, then he could just like close the game out. But that's a hard target to spot. There are some musket riders on the field now, but yeah, Drogo has a very scary army at this point.
Yeah, bringing out those 2 falconets as well. Everything he's got so far. Maybe he needs a little bit more in terms of his dragoon count to be able to support that right now. But I think he's doing pretty well. Going to be taking down these 2 trading posts as well, or at least this main one. You can actually see the benefit of putting these trading posts at the beginning at the far corners. They're actually very expensive to go take down. move a lot of units over onto that side of the map. Whereas these middle trading posts are you kind of on the way to your opponent's base.
Yeah, very true. And it looks like Aizamk is catching up, well, a little bit in army. He's starting to get an army established, but diarouga is still just, very large army right now, and pretty scary army for him. And right now, it looks like Aizamk is moving out. Both of them are moving out.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be hitting each other's sides of the map pretty much simultaneously. A's, he's a little bit better defended. He kind of diarouga has to push right into his side of the map or right into his base, whereas a lot of diarouga's villagers are exposed right now. And you can see actually these forest prowlers are stealth.
Yes, the stealth forest prowlers. Could get some nice shots here, but he's kind of like base trading versus two cannons, which, they're gonna do a lot of siege and be able to take a lot of buildings down. And A's even has a lot of gold villagers exposed. But here we go. All the forest prowlers are just trying to snare the villagers. It doesn't look like a whole lot are going down. One villager went down. Yeah, I think he lost a single villager only, which is not much. Oh, and now look at this. There's crusaders on Azamk's gold villagers.
Oh yeah, true. You can see diarouga was actually playing that very cautiously early on. He kept his units around his falconets, just sieging down the war hut with his falconets. But now that Ace has actually revealed all of his units, just going for the circle siege right now. I think diarouga, just his army is so big. He's got so many more units. He has these falconets that this base trade that's effectively happening right now is going to favor A's a little bit more. That said, diarouga put a lot of villagers into that town center. I think A's had a little bit more time to prepare and kind of was able to move some of his villagers away, knowing that because A's was the one deciding to do the base trade.
Yeah, that is true.
Actually,
well, I don't recalculate economic population. I don't even know if Aizamk is gonna take out this town center.
Yeah, that's actually true. The Courrier de Bois were actually doing quite a bit here.
Yeah, they're just gonna hold them themselves. It's gonna be pretty close, actually.
But yeah, it looks like A's is losing his town center. He actually had like 15 villagers in there.
Ooh, skirmisher pop.
Yeah, A's is calling GG. I think that's a reasonable decision at this point. There didn't really have a full game plan in mind there. It felt like he kind of pushed in Age 2, didn't have that many units to push in with. Couldn't really do significant damage to diarouga, and then diarouga just ages and kills him basically.
Yeah, so let me update the score before you get out here. So it is now 1-1 in this best of 7. Alright, take a look at some post-game stats. Yeah, I think Aizamk, his strategy just didn't really work in this game. He made a lot of horsemen in Age 2, and he just wasn't able to really punish diarouga, and diarouga just got Age 3 pretty quickly, and got those really strong Age 3 units out.
I would describe that as basically every single one of my Iroquois games when I'm not just going all in with them.
Yeah.
It never really feels like I know what to be doing, and every time I do try to do anything, it just feels like a worse European Civ strat. They have like I'm not saying they're bad outright, but they have a very awkward style of play that makes it a little bit. It just everything feels just a little bit worse than their equivalent European civs.
Yeah.
So you should say, okay, I'd rather be playing French.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that opinion. So we're 1-1 in this series. Nice.
Yeah. It means now it's diarouga's turn to pick the native civ. So his choices still Aztec, Iroquois, and Sioux. I believe of the three, as with many players, Aztec is his favorite and the one he's most familiar with. The Iroquois and Sioux are the ones that are the least explored and the ones that will make for some very interesting games.
All right. So you said who's picking first here? Aizamk?
Diarouga.
Diarouga is picking first. All right. Cascade range. Which one is that again? Is that the one with the berries, with a bunch of berries?
Berries. It doesn't have any treasures except for tier 1. I think it
Right.
has like the polar bear,
The
woolly wood treasures.
and it has like the two mini ponds that like doesn't have any fish like on the
Yeah,
sides.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Yeah.
ones nobody really wants. Yeah,
Right. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting map. I'd say in general it's pretty, low hunt. Like there's a lot of berries.
yeah.
And the hunt that there is, it's pretty far from your base. So, I think map control will be important on this map, and
Yeah. It's a
and
pretty hard map to play. There's no
yeah,
trading post line, so you kind of have to really think about how you're going to, or rather, yeah. So actually, Diarouga, confirming what I thought, the Iroquois pick I was a little bit surprised with because they're a civ that likes to get trading posts,
yeah,
whereas Aztec are a civ that doesn't really need one.
yeah,
That makes a little bit more sense.
yeah. I really like Aztecs on this map. I think it's a very good choice.
Yeah, they're a civ. They're very well suited to this map. It's a low hunt map with no trading post line. With games that can often end in like 8 minutes, just because nobody has patience for.
Hmm.
These are choices: Ports, Indians, and Spanish. Um, for this, I would say Indians kind of makes the most sense, and yeah, he's going for that
Yeah,
too. That doesn't really need a trading post to function. Can do very well against against the Aztecs. They both have this similar style of. They can both just put down their barracks equivalent that also shoots things, and then make a lot of units, and then try to kill each other in 8 minutes.
yeah,
So I guess not really too surprising that they'd be going for these civ picks.
yeah. And this is an interesting one. India versus Aztec, getting into game 3 here, and we are tied 1-1 right now. So let's see how this one rolls out.
Yeah, generally I think this matchup has been discussed a little bit on ESOC, and I think it's one of the sides that tends to play aggressively and one side that tends to play defensively. I'm actually not sure which one is the one that is better off building in base.
Did you guys put like free for all, or my UI is messed up right now?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys forget to
I
put
wonder
it?
if they use my UI is messed up as well.
Okay,
I'm
it should
wondering if
be. Yeah, let me pause it super quick. Do I have to Yeah, I think I remember hearing like for some of the maps they made the newest versions, and for some of the other ones they did not. Yeah, we should switch. We're at the start of the game, so
yeah.
it's a lot better for viewers to when you can see the UI. It just looks really sloppy like that without it.
Okay, now we're good.
Yep. Sorry, I gotta download the map. I feel like I don't know why. I guess they come out with the new maps pretty often. Because I was gonna say I feel like I should have like everyone downloaded at this point, but I'm always surprised, like, cause when I play in a tournament, it's like, oh, I actually have to download it. But I guess there's like the UI versions, and then there's like the playing
Yeah.
version. So yeah.
Yeah, there are a few different versions of the map that got released in a short period of time.
Mhm.
There's UI 2.2a, 2.2b, the regular map, 2.2, and I think there might have been one that just got renamed, which caused a little bit of difficulty.
Yeah.
This is also just not a very common map to play on.
Yeah. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you want me to turn up like the game volume or anything like that. I haven't seen anything in the chat, but yeah, just let me know. Okay, what are they doing? Why did they just switch it to not?
Just reselecting the map. diarouga, for whatever reason, wasn't
Oh,
able
he
to
didn't get
download it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I still don't quite understand why it's so difficult to download maps.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we got a little bit of downtime here in between games. Reading the chat a little bit, and I'm seeing somebody say, "Are you guys hyped for AoE3 Definitive Edition?" Ooh, it's a good one. Good question right there. And yeah, it's hard to say, how far off that is and what it's gonna really look like, but it's definitely good news for AoE3, and it's gonna be
Yeah,
really interesting
definitely.
to see what happens.
1 second. Yeah. Okay, now I switched over to.
All right, I think I'm good to go. Hopefully,
Yep.
everybody's ready.
Looks like diarouga can green in. Okay, great.
Uh,
Yeah,
so-
AoE3 Definitive Edition. We don't really know what that entails. From what we saw of Age of Empires Definitive Edition, it's like a full remastering. In fact, not even a little bit more than a remaster. They're actually updating a lot of the graphics to make it, you know, a really, it's quite an extensive update for Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
Right.
For 3 Definitive Edition, we don't really know what's going to happen there.
Right. I feel like the graphics
It's a relatively recent game.
right, and the
Yeah,
graphics are
exactly.
already pretty good, and but yeah, either way, I mean, it will be good for the AoE3 community, definitely.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, but let's get into this game. So this is game 3 in the finals, and it is tied 1-1 at the moment. Aizamk is playing as the Indians, and Rogo is playing as the Aztecs. And this map is Cascade range. Aizamk is starting with Market. So he's gonna be. It's a little interesting to see. He's not gonna be super aggressive. No super early aggro. He's gonna be going for a little more defensive play, or a little bit slower
Actually,
start
a
at
little bit
least.
atypical, right? To start off with this market. I guess it makes sense with India because they already get a lot of wood, and he had this gold start, so he can do it.
Yeah.
He's going full wood right now, not actually hunting at all. So he's probably going to be playing for this, certainly not doing a 10-10. Probably going to be spending a little bit of time in age 1. India, they can have some more awkward age ups. I think it's pretty common just actually, if you're just starting off with India and not doing a 10-10, to age up at like 6 minutes, just because it's so difficult to manage both wood and food at the same time.
Oh boy.
Market.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm okay with going for a restart.
I mean that's kind of up to Azamk. I would think, because that's a misclick by the player. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like saying it is super early, so I mean yeah, we'll give it a re.
Yeah.
Usually re's aren't for misclicks, but Aze is a very nice guy, so I think either way he doesn't.
Yeah.
He wants a rematch. He wants to play fair, and. But that's always interesting. I've always thought, what if you're playing a tournament game and you're both like 10 minutes into the game, and you say you accidentally delete 10 of your muskets, you're not going to get a restart there, right? Because that's like a player misclick. That's not like a unfair start or anything like that. So, but that's fine.
The official rules are kind of, you don't really get a restart for you doing something wrong, so much as like if the hunts are bad or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, in cases like these, if both players agree to it and it's before 2 minutes, then it's not really a problem.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so third time for game 3 here. Let's get it underway this time.
Yeah, backing up the same files. That's pretty
Look.
important in an extended series. Uh, just because all the recorded games get renamed, and once you get to recorded game 9, you
Oh,
lose it.
right. That's smart. I never would have thought of that.
7 series where there can be multiple restarts happening in a couple of games. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. Good point. All right, so we are finally underway in Game 3 here. Aizamk versus Durugo. They're tied 1-1. Aizamk is playing as the Indians, and Durugo is playing as the Aztecs. We're playing on Cascade Range, and Aizamk finds a nice little 40 wood treasure right next to his TC.
I'm interested to see now if Ace is going to go for that market again. My suspicion is because he doesn't have that gold start that he won't be doing so. Diarouga, meanwhile, got a 200 wood start, so I can see him actually building a market and a fire pit. You can see the fire pit going up right now. And getting this, he's getting a little bit of coin treasures. There are a few beavers on this map that might support one of those markets.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like Ace. Yeah, I don't believe he's going to be going for the market this game. Durugo just building a house himself here. And there's another bear treasure, another 40 wood for Azamp, so very nice. He's finding these pretty close to his base, which is very nice. Let's see, take a look at Durugo's treasures near his base. What is he looking like? He does have this 40 wood over here, and another 40 wood, so just a little bit further away, but
yeah, the treasures on this map tend to be pretty bad. You've got these beaver treasures that give 10 to 30 gold each, which are pretty mediocre. These 40 wood treasures are fine, although the grizzly bears are a little bit difficult to take down if you're playing a Euro civ. Although you usually just crack shot them in turn because they're far enough away that you can wait for that to refresh.
yeah.
And you really only go for these 40 wood treasures, which there's like 5 or 6 of them on the map in total. A's got 2 so far. I think Diarouga is not yet gotten his first one.
Yeah.
But he sees a couple of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he scouted this one to the far left here. I don't think he has because he's right in position, but I think his his cougar I think did run past this other one. That's kind of
Yeah, it
closer
did
to
run
his
past
base.
the
Yeah.
one down here.
Right, right. All right, so nothing crazy happening right now. Just pretty standard age 1 looking.
Uh, the only interesting thing worth noting here is that Ace did not go for the 10-10. He is going to be aging up a little bit later. And probably likely, if he puts down an aggro, going to be putting that down a little bit defensively. I think there is a risk definitely in this matchup of getting just overrun really quickly on either side. And so you have to be a little bit careful about if you're going to actually put your base forward or not.
Yeah, very true. And Drogo did pick up his first 40 wood, but Azamk is not picking up his third 40 wood, so it looks like Drogo is probably about to get a second one, so he'll kind of even it up a bit after this.
Yeah. A's, you can see he's got 1 villager forward right now. He is gearing up to age up. Diarouga has just clicked up 2. And yeah, gathering a lot of wood. He's going to be. I'm guessing that Diarouga is going to be building forward this game, and A's is going to be going defensively.
And
Yeah, and
yep.
the defensive wonder up right in base.
Yeah, Kami or what is that called?
The one that gives you like better gather speed.
Right, right.
Unfortunately, the name escapes me right now.
I think it's something with a K, Kamiru or something like that.
No,
No, is that
it's not Kami.
no? I know. Is that that's
The
one player's
Carnimata.
name? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Carnimata.
I think, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm out of shape in AoE3 knowledge. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah. So Azam's building this defensive wonder, and we got the bears scouting out. Dorigo's bears, seeing what's up. Villagers are not scared of this bear. Just a giant grizzly bear roaming around. Villagers acting like nothing's happening. But
Yeah.
what else is going on?
Diarouga taking advantage. Actually, he actually is not building a war hut right now. He went 700 wood, and you can see he's actually starting his war priest boom off really quickly.
Yeah.
with all these villagers on. I think he knows he's a little bit safe because actually the Tower of Victory going up.
Oh
He knows he's
wow.
safe because he doesn't see this Lord Agra. He probably might have even scouted this wonder and knows Ace is not aged up yet. So this is very much a free war priest boom going on right now.
Yeah, and we do have the war hut going down now for Dorogo, built in a pretty defensive location. And yep, as you said, Aizamk built the Tower of Victory, which is just very strange, but that's what you expect from Aizamk, a very
Yep.
non-standard player. So you do get some wood
To
from
add
that.
on to that non-standardness,
Oh yes.
you're just going to be going for this trading post. The Nuka settlement. Nuka, a very, very good native because they have so much siege and they're not a very expensive unit to make.
Yeah.
That 400 wood that you get with the age up with Tower of Victory basically pays for all the Nuka because otherwise they just cost food.
Yeah, I think I've seen a native, trading post built on this map a few times before in tournament games. So, yeah, don't underestimate these guys. And there we go, batch of 5 of them are made, and they're already running into Dorogo's main base here. And this will be interesting. There are some houses kind of far away from town center. So Azam's gonna start sieging them right away.
Yeah, these are a little bit exposed as houses. Diarouga, actually, because he has all of these war priests, he can now make these warriors,
Yeah.
basically the native Minutemen. That'll hold them off, hold these Nuka off for now.
Yeah, these warriors just popped out extremely quickly with this many, villagers and warrior priests dancing on the fire pit. He got like 6 of these warriors out extremely quickly and just kind of canceled that, saved his house and canceled that rush a little bit. No, and he actually repaired his house.
Yeah.
We do have a
I guess
constantly.
Diarouga's build sort of has to what Ace is doing. I'm imagining he didn't really predict what Ace was going to be doing here because that a Tower of Victory into Nootka trading post is I would not describe that as a predictable strategy. But because of all these warriors, because of all these warrior priests, he's able to train warriors and hold off these Nootka pretty effectively.
Yeah. Ooh, that elephant get that splash damage on those warrior priests. Bam! 3 of them down in one hit. Very nice. Um, and Azam's gonna escape with that elephant too. Nice.
Yeah. Even so, this is it's not clear what he's going to transition into at this point. He made 9 Nootka. I think that there are enough mace out and enough warriors that can be continuously made. That's not very ideal to just kind of continue to try to make Nootka and try to push him like this. He needs to think of another way to supplement this army to make his aggression work out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Diarouga has moved most of his villagers off of the fire pit because he now has these 10 warrior priests. So he isn't, I would describe like a very commanding economic lead. He's down in villagers, but he has so many warrior priests at this point that it really makes up for that.
Yeah. So Azamk is going with the Ottoman consulate. It'll be interesting to see what he sends here first. If he goes for the hussars or if he's going for the villagers. And he is going for the hussars. So he has the 3 what are these, like elite hussars made from the Ottoman consulate. And these guys, they're very strong. So he's gonna have a pretty strong army here. Let's see. Oh, I can't double click on these clubmen, but he's got quite a few clubmen and his 3 hussars and then his 2 elephant explorers. And this could be a scary timing push.
Right, yeah. Diarouga transitioned into a lot of maces to respond basically to the Nootka, but now there's 3 hussars out. And that can mean that Diarouga is in a little bit of trouble if he isn't very strong with this micro here.
Yeah.
He did send another 10 maces and probably is going to be making another batch of warriors. And yeah, you can see
Yeah. I
the
mean,
Nootka themselves also be pretty effective against maces.
yeah. So Azamk is gonna fall back here. Seeing a pretty large force from Drogo. He doesn't want to, go all the way in. And he does have his 2 elephants pretty low HP there. I'd like to see them both get healed up. I was gonna say I would have liked to see them get healed before he went in initially, but and there were a few warrior priests even starting to be made. So, um, and yeah, like
Yeah,
all
nonetheless, I'm being a little bit reminded of last game where Ace makes a lot of different units, but they don't really gel too well. And he just kind of seems like he's making things but doesn't have a full plan in mind. He's transitioned now out of the hussars into all of these Gurkha. And he has a pretty scary army, but diarouga, he's pretty well protected right now. He has so many maces. He has a few puma. He's sent another 9 maces, and he can continue to make these warriors when needed. So I'm not so sure that Ace is going to be able to make a timing here.
Yeah, there are a lot of mace on field, and here we go. We got a big engagement here. Not sure if there's enough cav, and yeah, he's kind of dancing around here.
Right there.
Looks like it's getting a little bit laggy here.
Just a little, yeah, but I think we're fine right now.
Okay. Yeah, no complaints from the players, so that's usually what you wait for if the players aren't.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, he has a bunch of Gurkha, but they're not going to be able to do that much poking against this many maces. He really wants to take down those puma because that's what's going to keep that's what's keeping the maces protected. But there aren't that many cav out right now, and I don't think he's built. He's just now getting his caravanserai, so we're not going to be seeing much more cav out of him for a while. Meanwhile, diarouga has gotten a few more puma out. He's starting to make some coyote runners and getting a very well balanced army, and now taking down this trading post.
Yeah, and so let's not forget, Aizamk does have his Tower of Victory, which allows you to cast the Inspiration ability, which greatly increases the attack, hit points, and speed of your land units. And he has not used that yet. There hasn't been a real major engagement yet, kind of just a lot of poking. So a lot of times, some Indian players will forget to use that, and especially if you build an age 2, it's even stranger. So it's hard to sometimes remember to use that. But we'll see if that comes into play here, as we might be seeing a really big engagement happening pretty soon.
Pretty smart thing that diarouga is doing right now is actually using these warriors that are at 1 HP to just go scout. These are pretty much free units because he has so many war priests that he can make these virtually instantly. And as a result, he can find out exactly where Ace's army is. Now knows that there's not really much of an army up here on this northern side of the map. And he's actually starting to push in now as a result, right up on these production buildings of Ace.
Yeah, and Ace did get 5 of his sepoy caught there and pretty much killed for free, so this is good, really good pickup. Sorry, really good pickup for Drogo there. And Drogo's not pushing in. He's just took down barracks, and he has a pretty scary army here. See, Aizamk's army is to the side here. He might be trying to flank them, but it looks like he's going to lose the stable too, as his army is a bit too far away right now.
Yeah, Ace is showing a little bit of indecision right now. He doesn't have a large enough army to be able to take down diarouga's force. But he's not doing much with it either. He's trying to decide, do I attack, do I defend, what do I do here? He's waiting a little bit. He got another 5 Soar out, but even with that, that's not really going to be enough. I think even if he calls Minutemen, he's not going to be in a great position. He needs to get a very good angle on these units to be able to make the catch.
Yeah,
and it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, so now Aizamk is just now starting to move his army around. Just kind of continuing to lose buildings here, and he did rebuild his market, which is interesting. He has quite a bit of resources. So he does have the
That's the regulars.
Yeah, regulars. There we go.
Yeah. So that could actually go for a good timing. Yeah, he's calling out all of these units right now, and the rest of the units coming on from the backside to make the catch. A ton of units
popping out villagers right even, and and
inspiration.
This is the best thing that could have happened for Aizamk there, and inspiration. Yep, as you said. So let's see how this engagement goes.
Completely rolling through all of diarouga's units.
Yeah.
I was thinking, unless he actually sends that Minutemen card, it's not going to work. But he sent it, and then let this happen. And yeah, diarouga's calling GG. Really smart play from Ace. That's a card that you would not. I honestly wouldn't expect him to even have that card in his deck, but he did. It worked.
Oh, and that's crazy. Drogo was looking very good there, and then just very good timing, and just shipping the regulars right there, and Drogo's just underneath TC, pretty much sieging everything, and that allowed Aizamk to get a really good pop, of all their regulars, and then he had his main force. Come and flank, the rest of his Drogo's units so that they couldn't escape. So very good engagement there, and that one engagement just won in the game there.
Yeah, pretty typical A's game where you do some random things early on. You do what seems to be terrible strategies, building this Tower of Victory, building this Nuka settlement, and then you win the game.
Yeah, yeah, very funny. One of those games that you're watching and casting, and it looks like, for like 90% of the game, it looks like Azamk's losing, and it just looks like he has no hope. And then all of a sudden, he just like wins the game in like 2 seconds. So
Right.
that's a
Pretty
fun.
much exactly what happened here.
Yeah, that's a fun one
So
to
now A's
watch.
is going up 2-1. Yeah, A's is 2-1, and now he is again on the pick. I have to check the rules really quickly. I believe that A's is now no longer allowed to select the Iroquois. So he has to choose between Aztec and Sioux for game 4.
All right.
Allowed to use native civs once. So A's is going to be choosing Sioux or Aztec on this map. ESOC High Plains, actually, which is high hunt map with a lot of trading posts. And actually, Sioux could be an interesting pick on this map.
All right, and I'm seeing the stream delay, and the big engagement is happening right now. I'm watching on my phone.
I'm watching the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, you just seen the chat go crazy.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, that was a great engagement there. That was pretty much my reaction. Everybody's like, "Wow." I will be back in less than a minute.
Okay. I'll let the players know. Looks like we have Sioux versus Russians on this map. I'm pleased with the Sioux pick. I think that makes sense for this map. Russians, yeah, that one can work too. You have to be aware of the extremely high number of trading posts on this map that leads to some interesting different play styles. Neither of these civs are really well suited to a lot of trading posts. I suppose Sioux a little bit. Russians, they don't tend to do it too much, but on this map, you certainly want to be taking trading posts when you can. Mobility of Sioux here is going to be very critical. It's a very large map, has a lot of open pathways for attack, makes raiding very, very strong here. So I'm really liking the Sioux pick. And the Russians probably, Daruga's probably going to be making a lot of blockouts this game.
All right, yeah. So they both locked in with these two civs?
Yep.
All right, Russia versus Sioux in game 4 here on High Plains. Alright, giving Aizamk a minute to grab a drink, and we're going to be underway in game 4 in just a minute here.
Yeah, Diarouga probably can't be feeling too well after that last game. He felt like he was in an extremely commanding lead. He had so many more units. He's kind of almost stole that one away with that enlist irregulars card.
Yeah.
Yeah, now going down 2-1 in this best of 7 series, the pressure is starting to come on, right? If A's wins this game, it's a 3-1 series, or the score is 3-1, and that's not a great place to be coming back from.
Yep, definitely true. And yeah, it's always rough to lose those games where, as a player, like I said earlier, where you're winning like 90% of the game, and then just all of a sudden you just lose in like a matter of a few seconds. Those are very frustrating as a player, and it can take a toll on your mentality. And a lot of players can get frustrated and allow that loss to affect the rest of their games in the series. So you gotta like remain calm, keep your cool, and try not to carry that game into your next ones where it would affect your gameplay negatively.
Definitely, yeah. So Ace is starting off with the Sioux, and he's going right up into the middle of the map, starting to take a treasure pretty much at the very beginning of the game, that 60 XP. So a good start for him. Diarouga getting a 50 coin treasure in base, and starting off with a market. So going probably for a little bit of a slower play style here, as revealed by the market. Not going to be going too aggressively early on. A's, meanwhile, Sioux, they're a relatively unexplored civ. The new changes on the EP changed a lot of different things with them in terms of design. And there's the expectation that they were going to become a top tier civ on EP after all those TP changes, but it didn't quite happen. We didn't really see them doing too well in the spring tournament.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's always a lot of times can be so hard to judge when there's new patches because, I mean, part of it is they're so new that players just aren't adjusted to the play styles yet, and but at the same time there are very good players testing all the civs and everything, so it's interesting
Right,
to see
definitely.
what happens when there are those patch changes. But
Yeah.
in general, the patches are very well. I'm not trying to say that the patches are
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
And
So yeah,
Aizamk,
with
no, go
oh
ahead.
yeah, he is getting this 140 food treasure with the sunflowers. Very good for him. Losing actually a little bit of explorer HP off that.
Yeah,
Was
does he
quite
not
heavy.
notice he can't see? Oh wait, maybe it was on cooldown. I'm not sure. It was probably on cooldown his ability, because he was like running around the outlaw, just taking shots like as if he didn't see him.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a little bit hard to click on the outlaw just because there are all these trees in the way.
yeah, yeah. I was
That
wondering
might have
if that was the
caused
case.
problems.
Hmm.
Yeah, a little bit suboptimal for him, but he still has about half of the explorer HP left. He has that outlaw. He got that 140 food, which is the big prize out of all of that. So he is feeling pretty good about this one. This is a very high treasure map. There's a lot of different treasures on this map, and a lot of them are very powerful. In addition to that 140 food, we still have this courier de bois, and Sioux, as a result, can run around the map and take so many of these, and have a really easy time doing so because of that conversion ability.
Yeah, and oh well, okay. I think Azam's just doing a better job hurting. Hopefully, I mean it looks like Drogo has a lot of hunt. That's not far, but yeah, I mean if you look at the two town centers, Azam's looking sitting very pretty with a lot of hunt. Bison like right on top of his town center, and Drogo. I mean he does have a lot of hunt too. I think he didn't really start hurting, and once he gets hurting a bit, his map will look very similar.
Definitely, yeah. You have to be very careful against Sioux because they can punish you if you're not hurting very well.
Yeah.
And even if you do hurt well, they can punish you with all the rating. So yeah, diarouga, he's starting now to age up. I'm guessing now at this point he's going to be building a defensive blockhouse, or actually no, he is sending these villagers forward now, so he's going to be going a bit aggressive.
And
A's
Azam,
meanwhile,
yeah, meanwhile, Azamk is building that far trading post. Players like the far trading post on the corner of the maps. As you were saying, in the previous game, it is smart to do that because your opponent will either have to, go siege that TP and go very far out of the way, and then that just creates more walking time to the point where then they would finally get to your base. So yeah, there's a point in making these trading posts on the corner of the maps.
exactly, yeah. Uh, Nevertheless, this may not have been the optimal trading post for him to take. The reason is diarouga wants to put a blockhouse down here to lock down this trading post, which is the closest one to Ace's base. And as a result, this trading post it's still far. It's still expensive for diarouga to take, but it's not as expensive as if A's built the trading post over here. If A's kind of made it there, then
Yeah,
that's never going down because
very,
diarouga just never is
very.
going to find the time to do it.
And look at this. Azam's using his splash damage to take out this 210 XP treasure, and yeah, he takes it out. It looked like I don't know. That was interesting. I mean, I guess the Sioux, it was guarded by three outlaws, and Sioux, usually you think that's very heavily guarded treasure, but as Sioux, you can just convert one, and then he was doing a very nice job of using his war chief to just use his slash damage and to attack the two other ones, and that's pretty big, picking up that 210 XP.
Yeah, that puts him pretty far ahead in terms of the shipment count right now. He has this trading post as well, which he got up very early. Diarouga now getting a trading post of his own up and getting this second blockhouse. So Diarouga is looking to hold this position and lock it down pretty heavily. But actually, maybe that blockhouse is not going to be going up. You can see he's sieging it down. And I think he's actually going to be able to get it before Diarouga is able
Yeah.
to stop this.
Yeah, so
Really good timing from A's.
yeah, Drogo loses some wood there, and just gets his second blockhouse up later, and Ace is going back in. Oh, and wow, look at the clubman. He has a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
clubmen
that's
on
so
the
many.
field.
Yeah,
Um, Jesus, he shipped 7, and then he must have made 5, I suppose. And this is looking very scary for Drogo. That second blockhouse goes down immediately, basically, as it's getting built. And let's see, is Drogo gonna get a shipment out of his blockhouse right now, or a unit pop?
maybe. Yeah, and even making a TP.
Oh, that is funny.
Really position. Yeah, taking down the blockhouse, took down basically two building blockhouses, and got all these units. Now,
5
getting this
muskets.
other blockhouse down. Yeah.
Oh, and Drogo.
And even though, yeah, message coming out, but look, Khitan are coming out too.
Yeah, and Durigo just shipped 700 food that arrived at home, so if that would have been like 13 Strelets, he could have, maybe probably saved that blockhouse, but that's rough. Durigo loses his 2 blockhouses, his forward base, and he's going to lose his trading post now. And he's now
Oh yeah,
building.
this is kind of the commanding control style play that I kind of expected from Aizamk out of the last two games, where he kind of does this really unusual and unorthodox strategy, but it works extremely well. Last two games, we didn't really see that. He kind of tried to do that with the Nutka. Maybe even in game 2 with the Iroquois, he tried to do that. But this game is the game where it actually pays off, where he completely catches diarouga off guard. You can see diarouga ships 700 food. He's building 2 blockhouses as a panic move. Lost basically 3 blockhouses and a trading post already. Is going into the mid game in a very commanding lead.
Yeah, and you're seeing Durigo continuing to make these muskets because it would be nice to be able to make some Strelets versus this army, but when you're playing versus Sioux, like you always have to be scared of their cavalries. They just have strong cavalry and they can just get a lot of cav units out pretty quickly, basically. And with their WarChief along too, um, so it's scary to even think of making Strelets. So he's just continuing to make muskets, which is a safer option.
Definitely, yeah. And you can see diarouga has sent 3 resource crates in a row now, sending even the 700 food. You can see that he is feeling a lot of pressure right now. He's just trying to get out as many units as he can just to be able to survive. He does have a pretty substantial batch of musketeers out right now, and A's hasn't really made a lot of units outside of that initial batch. Maybe I think he only recently got his corral up, in fact. And he probably doesn't want to continue to make these Khitan bowmen, which are not a great unit outside of very, very narrow situations. He's going to be sieging down a couple of these houses, which is good. These musketeers are out of position, I guess,
Midmen
trying to
are
take down this
called.
TP and now going in.
Midmen are called, and they're gonna pick off a few clubmen here, but the house does go down, um, and forces the clubmen to back away. So good Midmen call. Did take out a couple clubmen and just prevented more damage from occurring. And all of a
Right.
sudden, Duro's armies is like looking scary as he just shipped 13 Strelets and like he has a very large musket mass. While what is Aizamk really? What is he looking at? Why does his army look so small right now?
He aged up just now, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's
I
the
was
main
looking
thing
at
he's
his
got
recent.
going for him.
Okay.
Uh, this is one of those situations where you have to be a bit careful. If you try to do too many things at once, and then your opponent just comes and kills you, of having that happen. Looks like he's losing his war hut, which is too bad. I don't think diarouga is going to be going for the town center, which is good for A's. If you lost that, which I would say there's a possibility of having that happen with the number of units that are out right now. Um, A's would have nothing going for him. I think diarouga is still feeling last game where there's just a random pop of 30 units.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be too aggressive.
Yeah. Duro decides to back off. Interesting decision as your opponent just hit H3. A lot of times that's when you'd want to be aggressive. But yeah, as you said, Durago lost. He pushed in last game and he lost to a very scary unit pop. So kind of playing safer this game. He does still have large massive units and economy wise, they're pretty even. Aizamk does have 2 trading posts, which is very nice, as he is in H3, so he's gonna be getting his XP pretty quickly, and he's gonna be using that XP to ship H3 shipments compared to Drago, you know, still doing H2 shipments. So that's gonna be very nice for Aizamk.
Definitely, yeah. It may have been better for diarouga to just go for it at that point. Aze was kind of advancing to H3 with nothing behind it. Pretty undefended. He had a bunch of infantry units on the northern side of the map and nothing else. Now that he's aged up to 3, he has a little bit of an army. He can protect himself. He's got this very powerful Wakina and Rifle Rider army, which is going to do very well against the number of musketeers that diarouga has right now. And he's building. He made another trading post. He could probably even make a couple more at this point. And he's even been able to keep up economically despite the Russian efficient villager production. He's actually a couple villagers ahead still, and is starting to make trading posts in base to get a little bit more resources out of here.
And he's picking up the 2 sheep treasure. He did convert the outlaw, I believe, right here. So nice little convert.
I guess it's the treasure that, you know, if you got your explorer around, you have a bunch of units, why not just take it?
And you get XP from killing units, so as silly as it is, just getting 2 sheep every little bit counts, so we're like, you might as well just pick it up. And here we go, Aizamk is moving in now on these blockhouses, so with like half of his army though. Yeah, what are okay, yeah, this is a little interesting here. And he is engaging now.
He's got a few more units coming in, but yeah, this might be a little bit early to engage. But diarouga is still moving back. But now Aze is the one who has to be careful, right? There's a lot of different shipment points that can pop out right now for diarouga to just go kill all of Aze's units if Aze is not careful. But, you know, there's a lot of Rifle Riders, not that many Strelets.
Yeah, and Rifle Riders are pretty strong. Or they always seem very strong whenever I play versus them. Like, look how fast it looks like they're firing. Like, their animation is pretty interesting. They're really quick at reloading. And yeah, this is a good push here from Aze. Yeah, he won that fight pretty overwhelmingly. There are now some veteran cavalry archers out, so he did have to. Did he research the upgrade in H3 for them, right?
No, they just
start veteran. Okay. But yeah, they arrived after that fight, so they weren't able to help out in the fight there. And do this one far villager for Drago doing a little bit of hurting. Ooh, looks like he was about to get caught, but maybe not.
Yeah. For diarouga, he made probably what was the smart choice for what he knew to upgrade his musketeers to veteran. But then he just lost all of them. And I don't expect him to continue to make musketeers if he's going to be making these cavalry archers. So a little bit of a wasted upgrade. And you can see he's only now just getting his veteran Strelet upgrade, which may have made a difference in the previous fight if he had chosen to do veteran Strelets instead of veteran musketeers.
Yeah.
Now I'm going for the Strelet cavalry archer composition, but there are not a lot of cavalry archers against Sioux, which is never a good position to be in. This is, you know, continued to really maintain a strong lead in this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised Aze didn't find that one villager that's out hurting kind of far, and he's because you gotta know that at this point Russians, you know, probably starting to run out of hunts. So I'm surprised Aze isn't doing a little bit better job of keeping track of those hunts there.
Yeah, that's actually diarouga's last hunt on his side of the map, unless you count this one, which is extremely far away from him. After that, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble because careful about where he's positioning his army, where he's positioning his blockhouses, where he's positioning his villagers to be able to against Sioux, which can, you know, very quickly just come in with a bunch of units and clear out all of your villagers, as we're about to see right now, actually.
Yeah. And yeah, this is gonna be a very strong raid from Aizamk right here. 2 villagers go down. You're gonna have more, 4 right there, 5. Looks like I believe 5 villagers went down there. Cavalry archers, and very quickly, like as you said, those villagers went down quick. Drago is responding with his cav archer, so he does pick off 2 units himself there, but did lose 5 villagers. So
yeah, definitely not a great trade for diarouga. Aze is now up in 10 villagers, and he was actually pushing on this left side of the map as well. I don't think he got any villager kills, just because he was moving with the Wakina in addition to the axe riders and wasn't quite fast enough. Diarouga was also able to respond quickly enough. But yeah, A's is doing pretty well economically. A little bit behind in terms of the military. Well, actually, no, he just got another pop, and so I think he's ahead in both
Oh,
counts
he
now.
got a pop of elite
Oh
dog
yeah.
soldiers. That's always a scary one.
Did he make those himself, or did he press a button?
I'm not sure. I just saw him on the field right now. That's a good question though. And it
That
looks
can,
like,
yeah, that can end the game though.
yeah.
Oh, and getting the catch right here. The Strelets are out of position.
Ooh, yeah. And here we go. Very big engagement here. It's gonna be a game-deciding battle right here. And yeah, Strelts are trying to escape, but they definitely got caught bad. And look at these Axe Riders coming around for the flank. And
Yeah.
Drago just calling
That
GG
Ruger
there.
calling GG again, going down 3-1.
Yeah, so we're seeing some really strong play from Aizamk here. And yeah, this was just such a very interesting game. As you remember, early in the game when Dorogo had his 2 blockhouses, or he was trying to get his second blockhouse built, and Aizamk just appeared with a bunch of units very early, a bunch of clubmen, and just shut that down, took out that entire forward base and even the trading post. So that was a very big point in this game. That was like the first main turning point, and from there Aizamk just kind of continued to use his advantage to just close out the game. Alright, so Aizamk is up 3-1 in this series. And this is a best of 7, so Dorogo is going to have to win this next game to stay alive.
Yeah. A's in that last game, he seemed to have exact knowledge of what to be doing at every point in time. He had a critical timing at an early age too, where he was able to take down the blockhouse twice and then the main blockhouse. Had a little bit of trouble in age 3 right as he aged up, where it looked like he might just die outright because he was doing too many things at once. But then he didn't, and he was perfectly fine. And actually looking for the Civ selections right now. I'm going to let him know what he's allowed to pick. He is allowed to pick Dutch, Germans, French. Yeah, okay, diarouga, let him know.
Alright, the map is loading for me. Got a little bit of downtime between this next game, and I'm reading the chat a little bit, and I'm seeing Borg, who was an AoE3 player from kind of back in the day, and he switched to Age of Empires Online. And it's funny to see him, like, Age of Empires Online kind of brought him back to the ESOC community, which is really cool to see. And I'm seeing him, he's saying that he sees some players that he used to play with, like Blackstar, Garja, Yumi, and other guys. So it's always cool to see, old AoE3 players just coming back to the community. And he probably didn't even know of ESOC before we kind of got him back. So
Absolutely, yeah. I was actually I played Age of Empires 3 from like 2009 2010, and then took a 6-year break, and was really glad to find that there was still a vibrant community still alive.
yeah.
Through ESMC, through all these tournaments that are getting run.
Mm-hmm.
It kept me in the game for a lot longer than I expected to be. I kind of turned the game on one summer, said, I'm going to go play a couple games against the first lieutenants that I see
All right.
on the Asian Dynasties, but then I realized that there's actually still a pretty active tournament scene still around.
Yeah, ESOC definitely saved AoE3. It's like night and day. Before ESOC appeared, like AoE3 was just basically, people would say dead, dead, and there just wasn't really much reason to play. But yeah, then once ESOC got established and they started bringing these tournaments in, they've done so much to just make AoE3 just more fun to play, and just the community overall is a lot of fun. A lot of really great players and good guys to meet, and it's a great time.
Definitely, yeah. So Iroquois versus Germans now on Florida. Again, the Iroquois, probably the most European-like of the native civilizations. diarouga, I think he's feeling a little bit of pressure now that he's down 3-1. He wants to play a civ that he's pretty confident in. And I think he already picked Aztec. So that Aztec being one of his better civs is not an option anymore. He has to go for what's left. I don't think that this is going to be a water game, even though there is a lot of water on this map. Germans, of course, not a civ that takes water almost ever when they can get it, because they don't have that extra Schooners card.
Ooh, look at this. Aizamk already finding 105 coin treasure, and this is interesting and very smart from him. So he could go pick this up. You know, most players would pick that up. You're worried that your opponent might pick it up before you, but
Right.
you're aware of what's going on in the game. The game just started. You're aware that the your opponent's explorer can't be anywhere near this treasure, and instead you want to get that trading post up like as soon as possible because you don't want to miss the XP pass. So he's leaving that treasure, you know, just there free for anybody to pick up, but he's aware that the explorer won't be there. So he builds a
Right.
trading post and then picks up the treasure. So very smart play.
Yeah. Looks like he might have actually been able to make it. Seeing where the triple is right now, he might have been
Right.
able to make it otherwise. But even so, it's a safe move to make. There's no risk associated with waiting on that treasure.
Yeah. And Drogo builds his own trading post. He does not take the one behind his TC. Builds one that's a little bit in the middle of the map. But this is interesting. I mean, Aizamk is playing as Germans, and like in general, you Germans are a pretty good civ, pretty strong civ just overall. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how this game's played out. Iroquois versus German.
Yeah. I'm interested to know if diarouga is planning on taking that back TP later on. You'd think that, with this forward trading post, there is a risk that A is just at some point in the game, at like 8 or 9 minutes, just happens to have some Ulans around that he can't do much with. So he just goes and takes the trading post down. And as a result, I'm expecting diarouga to make up for that by saying, well, I plan to take that forward trading post because I want to take this back one as well. And maybe the third one if he can do it. Although I think that might actually be within the 10 center radius.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Drogo's gonna be aggressive this game or if he's gonna be, more for H3 playstyle. There's a fair amount of hunt on this map, but the hunt is kind of far from your town center. So being aggressive, can be good there if you can control the hunts and keep your opponent off a hunt. That can work out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Another
Drogo,
problem is a lot of these hunts are the turkeys, which, even though they have as many food as the deer, they just feel like they're worse hunts for some reason. They never
yeah,
feel like you're getting your full value out of them.
yeah. And
It's
one
probably because they
thing,
always.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's probably because they're always on like those really low hunt maps like Bayou.
Yeah,
Like you're getting a lot out of them.
yeah. And one of the things I always hated about the turkeys is you can't. It's really hard to tell if a turkey's dead or alive. Like they look
All the
really
time.
similar. So a lot of times, like I'll think I'm putting a villager on a turkey that's dead, but I'll like instead like shoot at one that's alive, and they'll run away from my town center. And
Yep, that happens all the time,
yeah, it's very
especially
frustrating. Yeah,
under the water because they can go underwater like that.
yeah. So Drogo, he's got a little army here. He's got an alligator and two outlaw blowgunners, and
Yeah, that's actually substantial, and he's probably going to be picking up even more. He is going for that second trading post now, in the
yeah.
back.
Ooh, take a look at Aizamk. He's doing the same actually.
Oh yeah,
Two TPs with German. Interesting. Yeah, that's already not standard. And he is using his one villager to start herding. There's some hunt right on the coastline here. It is pretty far from his TC, but he is now starting to get on top of that. And he's also herding another batch of deer. So
yeah. This hunt, actually, there's a similar one for diarouga on the other side of the map. They're kind of annoying to herd just because of that native trading post that blocks a lot of the herding.
yeah,
So this is an opportunity for both players to do some raiding. I think diarouga knows because there's so many Ulans that are going to be coming out, it's not a safe hunt right now, despite being close to the town center.
all right. So we have that forward war HUD going down, pretty much in the center of the map here for Drogo. And he's moving in with his little army right now, doing a little bit of scouting. Um, And yeah, it's interesting. So you usually don't see Germans build two trading posts, especially like really early. Um, it kind of like I feel like it slows down everything else they do. Um, at least initially, because you're using that 200 wood to build a second
Right.
trading post. And we do have the 4 Kanye horsemanship.
Yeah, it is actually doing an interesting build right now. He is not making it stable. He is sending 700 coin as his first shipment in H2, outside of the usual either 700 wood or 3 settler wagons. I think he's just going to be going up to age 3 right away.
Ooh, and I think Drogo made a small mistake, which actually costed his war chief's life. Usually when you ship
Oh.
the Fort Kanye, you want to get them shipped at the Ford War Hut, and it's interesting. You have to time it properly, because if you ship them too soon, then the War Hut won't be done, and you won't be able to have them arrive at the Ford War Hut. And I think that's what happened in this case. And we do have 3 settler pop and 2 Ullans. So yeah, the Fort Kanye they had to come all the way from town center rather than Ford War Hut, and it took them just a lot longer to get on the map, and that allowed the 2 Ullans to kill that Iroquois war chief. So very small thing, but
Yeah.
those like all those little things always add up.
So A is going for an extremely fast age 3, actually doing a fast age up on top of the 700 coin first. And because of those 2 trading posts, he actually can make that happen. He's still going to have those 3 settler wagons that he shipped just a little bit later. And he's actually going to have another shipment in age 3. So on top of those 2 trading posts, he's actually doing a very interesting build where he's going to be in age 3 before 7 minutes, have a shipment, and still be pretty much okay economically.
Yeah, and at this point, I don't know. I don't like Drogo's bleeding out a lot of units. Like, yeah, you're keeping all of your opponent's villagers in town center, but I mean, he's lost a lot of units there. It's always tough to say. Is that the proper choice to have all your force your opponent to idle all of his villagers? But at the same time, you lose quite a bit of units to TC fire, so
Right.
it can
Yeah.
sometimes be a difficult choice to make.
We're seeing a repeat of
Oh no, hello.
yep.
All right, a little lag spike there. Okay, I think we're good to go though.
We're still having a bit of a lag spike.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll pass in a little bit here.
Yeah. Let me check real quick to make sure everything's okay on my end.
All right, and Aizamk does ship his 3 war wagons. And Drogo is now just starting to age up himself, so Aizamk might have a little bit of a timing push here.
Yeah. I'll let the players notify us if the latency, basically the action lag, is really bad, or if those are just some minor lag spikes.
Yeah, yeah.
That way we can take some changes necessary.
Mhm.
Yeah, looks like, yeah. So diarouga, he's sending that 600 coin right now, but he is actually about to age up. So that's good for him. He's going to be, I think, in a little bit better position than the equivalent position in game 2 with A's when he was playing Iroquois. He's aging up a little bit faster. He's going to have maybe a little bit of a better army before A's is going to get a really scary push coming out. But even so, A's actually, he's shipping a lot of units. He shipped 3 war wagons, which are all still alive. He shipped 5 Doppel Soldiers. And did he make? No, he just shipped 5 Doppel Soldiers. Actually going to be able to take down this corral and probably the war hut too. With these 3 war wagons also putting on a lot of pressure.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, Drogo actually looking like he's in a scary position right now. Yeah, he needs to make something happen here.
Yeah, it's actually, he has 0 military unit population. He just lost that 1 Kanya. Now he has these 5 forest prowlers, but against what Aizamk has, that's not really going to be enough here.
Yeah, very interesting playstyle, obviously, of course, from Aizamk, and it's looking like it's working right now. And there's just only 5 forest prowlers. Let's see if we're gonna get a shipment here from Drogo. He has 1 stacked right now. I wonder if he has 1 on the way, but yeah, he's got to send that shipment. It's already he's got like 1.5 shipments. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The 5
it
muskets just popping out now.
popped. Okay.
Yeah. Ace is looking pretty strong right now. He's going to get another shipment now. That 8 skirmishers, 3 Ulans. He's now got a very strong skirmisher mass. And with those 3 Ulans, he actually has a somewhat threatening Ulan mass too, where there's not a lot of musket riders to protect against it. He lost that corral. I don't think the diarouga has remade that corral. That means that there's a chance that diarouga just at some point in the game just dies due to not having enough musket riders.
Yeah. Okay, and Drogo decides to ship resources, 1,200 resource. Oh, and he just makes 5 forest prowlers at this war hut, and probably should have canceled them. I don't know. He's engaging a little bit. He did lose 2 only. They're actually exchanging pretty well versus skirmishers, it seems, but that war hut does go down.
Yeah, forest brawlers actually do better against skirmishers than I think is expected. I think their stats on paper, well, actually, they do have more attack. Maybe with the warchief, or actually no, even without the warchief, their stats on paper pretty much make them an even match against the skirmishers.
Yeah, and Darugo's panicking to throw down these military buildings, and Aizamk actually does have little head opportunity here to maybe just push in, but you know, it's always tough. You never know what's going to be shipped, so you don't want to get caught out. So Aizamk's kind of continuing to just use his advantage and playing safe. And he ships 9 Olms himself here, and now he's just researching veteran Nolan. So once that
It's a good timing though.
Yeah, once that gets finished.
Yeah, I'm not sure diarouga wanted to ship those resource crates. He just had to because he was going to be losing that corral. He was losing that war hut, putting them down 400 wood, and he needed to remake those buildings to be able to survive here. He still doesn't have that many musk riders because this corral is coming up so late, and now there's this threat of just a bunch of veteran Ulans coming in, killing everything that diarouga has, which we might be seeing right now.
Yeah, and here we go. This is a big engagement here. This is pretty much the game. And yeah, and it doesn't look like Darugo's gonna be able to hold this, and Darugo taps out, and GG's. And Aizamk takes this series 4-1. Wow, congratulations to Aizamk and Darugo. You know, also getting all the way to the finals. Very good player himself.
Yeah, definitely very, very impressive play out of Ace this series. There was a little bit of a weak period in the mid-series, games 2 and 3, where he didn't quite seem to have a plan in mind. But then games 4 and 5, we saw extremely strong play out of them. Saw him know exactly what to be doing at every moment. Perfect timings on so many critical points, and was able to just roll over diarouga in a very convincing series for him.
Yep. Diarouga. I might have been pronouncing his name incorrect earlier. I saw somebody in chat right now saying.
Yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure it's diarouga.
Diarouga. Yeah, you're right. I think I just. Yeah, not the best.
The first time I heard you say his name, I was confused about who you're talking about.
That's funny. Yep, but that's it for this series. I'm not sure if there's any other games planned. I think there's still like a lot of viewers, about just shy of like 300 viewers. So,
I think we have Mito versus Kaiser Clan is actually planned.
Oh, okay. Great.
Right now. I don't know if there are casters arranged for that. And if you want to continue casting that, that would be, I think, appreciated.
Yeah, I probably could. Yeah, let me know if there are any other casters, but if not, I can.
Okay, yeah. I would prefer to set out for that one to not cast it.
Okay.
But if absolutely necessary,
all right,
for a little bit. Let's see. I think Mito is messaging me a little bit right now about it. But yeah, congratulations to Aizamk. Took the series 4-1. Thank you to iwillspankyou once again for hosting this tournament. I think we saw a lot of great series during the entire thing. And we're going to be going into the 3rd place match between Kaiser